what's the hump? What are the impediments that you got to navigate to get your feet under you financially, interpersonally?
The difficulty is like the actual transition period. I mean, I think it takes like a good year and a half before you can be in the proper mindset to realize that you're like not going back to the desert or your duty station or wherever it may be, and you have to readjust your focus and your motivation and readjust those core values towards something that's in the civilian world and let go of your past, really. Like, I mean, keep it with you, but try to just move forward, and it's like, so it's difficult.
I had some issue when I was getting out. I was going through a divorce, and I was just really kind of lost, and I was just, it was a scary time in my life, and even now it kind of, I just wonder how I made it through, but I did it through strictly, just staying positive.
Everyone's going through different transitioning processes and different acclimation problems. PTSD is the big thing right now because like 90% of the veterans coming out are all going to be Iraq, Afghanistan veterans, Kuwait, Kyrgyzstan, whatever, just supporting that war. And the year hump that he was referring to, that was difficult for me. That first year that I was home, I mean, so I was like living on the edge. I almost lost my left leg in a motorcycle accident.
Yeah, you had a lot of reckless behavior.
Yeah, and it took one significant event where I had woke up in the woods like 4 or 5 miles away from my house in the middle of the night, probably 4 o'clock in the morning, in the prone fighting position, in uniform, in like my desert fatigues, to realize that I had like some serious issues. And I reached out to the VA, and because I was already going to the Bay Pines clinic in St. Petersburg for traumatic brain injury treatment, and they told me about the Wounded Warrior Project, and I went there, and just being around all the other veterans, that significantly helps you a lot, like with the PTSD stuff. So I mean, everyone's experience is different.
There are also some veterans that don't want the treatment. They don't want the stigma attached to any kind of treatments, that sort of thing, but it is based on personal experience.
People who might be suffering from PTSD or might have brain trauma or might have other kinds of issues that and this isn't limited to Brock, by the way, because my guess is there's nobody at this table who hasn't been touched by someone that you're close to by these kind of issues. But what kind of resources are out there for those folks?
Reaching out to veterans, I think personally, is like the best way to cope with it, because you can relate stories with each other, you can form a bond. So like, just try to find other veterans within your community. I mean, like, I can't speak for communities around the nation or the globe, but I mean, there's Minnesota Operation Troop Support for like Sarasota and Manatee County. There's like your local VA clinics. If you just go there, you'll see younger veterans coming back, and then just make a conversation with them, make friends, like be outgoing and gregarious.
And to touch on that, that he's part of the MODS group, and going there, being in small little groups like that and talking amongst your peers about what you've been through, that's probably the best resource that you can use. I think.
The MODS group is a local support organization.
Right. Yeah. And being in that group, these guys talk about, they're able to be comfortable and actually talk amongst each other. Look for those things. Look for those small little groups.
Another thing too is that these veterans need to realize is they need to be able to analyze and figure out their triggers that they have that are negatively impacting their post-traumatic stress disorder. I realized that having a video gaming system and playing nothing but war games like Call of Duty and Ghost Recon, and I was constantly reliving those moments through technology. You have to get rid of that kind of stuff and just like focus more on morale boosting events like fishing or golfing or
Kind of
physical
dissociate
activities,
yourself with
sports, like rehabilitative techniques, not just, that's part of that hump too as well. I mean, you just have to overcome it, and it's pretty difficult.